New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez chairs the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and joins me now from New York. Senator, thank you very much. I know you were just back from Ukraine. So your take on the ceasefire, on whether the Europeans should keep the sanctions in place, and how much to trust Vladimir Putin on whether this thing is for real?
Well, if the previous ceasefires are an indication of anything, the reality is that each ceasefire that has been used by the Russians and their separatist supporters to ultimately advance their strategic positions and get rearmed. Now, hopefully this time it'll be different, but I hope and called for while I was in my travels not only to Ukraine but Eastern Europe to see the EU and the United States pursue more vigorous sanctions in order to make, number one, the ceasefire hold. Number two, as President Poroshenko has said, that to have peace, there are two key conditions that have to take place. Number one, the withdrawal of Russian troops back into Russia. They invaded, from my perspective, Ukraine. And secondly, that the border between Russia and Ukraine has to have a real control and a closed border so that we don't see this happen again. And hopefully the Organization for Cooperation and Security in Europe can be an entity that does that.
The monitors who've been there on the ground so bravely trying to make sure that the Russians don't cross over and that the Ukrainians are not taken hostage and that there is, in fact, the rule of law. Senator, what about Congress's role in all of this? You heard what the president said about ISIS and about the unanimity of the NATO alliance. Rachel Maddow was saying that under the War Powers Resolution and the notification, by her account, by October 8th, Congress has to say yay or nay on keeping those additional forces in Iraq.
Well, of course, the president has acted in that particular case under the view that he was defending American personnel at our embassy and acting in the context of his power as commander-in-chief. I think on the broader question of how we are going to degrade and defeat ISIS, which I totally support the president on, that strategy has to come forward, and it seems to me that that may very well be the area in which my committee, the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, that has jurisdiction over the questions of authorizations for the use of force, will have to take it in consideration. As a matter of fact, I already had, prior to all of this, a hearing called for, I believe it was the 15th or 16th of September.
With Secretary Kerry.
Iraq. Yeah, it's going to have Secretary Kerry, and I hope also our Defense Secretary will be able to make it as well, because one thing is to understand the diplomatic and political strategies that are being devised here. Having a defense element of that and understanding that would be important to have Secretary Hagel there as well.
Should there be a vote? Should there be a debate on the floor of the Senate?
Well, look, I have no doubt that there will certainly be a debate about what we do with ISIL. As it relates to a vote, it really depends upon what the administration is coming forth and asking for in terms of its use of force. And just like my committee gave the authorization for the use of force when the president was traveling to Russia in the G20 summit, when Syria and Bashar Assad was ultimately using chemical weapons against his people, and the committee voted affirmatively to give that use of force to the president, which I think turned the tide on the question of the chemical weapons. We will stand ready to consider it again if the president is asking for a more extensive use of force than he's had today.
Thank you so much. Senator Bob Menendez, the chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, just back from Ukraine.